Email from Rob. Hi, Dan. Both myself and my wife, Kelly, voted yesterday in the town of Erin, yes and yes, on the constitutional amendments. Thanks for putting out a great show. We also got some texts that came in. Hi, Dan. My husband and I just voted, took our college-age daughter to vote as well. We are heading up north for the week and didn't want to forget. Thanks for all you do, Kristen in Menominee Falls. Here we have one. Voted yesterday in Muskego, yes and yes. Debbie in Brookfield voted yesterday. She included a great picture of herself with a giant "I voted today" sticker that is on a sign, presumably at the polling place. My wife and I voted yes and yes in Franklin yesterday. Voted yesterday in the city of Pewaukee, Dan. This comes from Karen. No one else was there voting. That's why we are doing it, ladies and gentlemen, because no one else is. This is an important election. Usually August primaries are not, unless there's a statewide Senate race or a big congressional race on the ballot. If you're in Waukesha County, of course, the Republican district attorney primary is a big race. If you're in the congressional district that Mike Gallagher abandoned earlier this year, obviously there's a big primary there. But outside of that, there isn't much on the ballot, except, of course, for the two constitutional amendment questions. Now, we have been going over these in great depth. Vote yes and yes to stop Governor Evers' slush fund. But as one listener pointed out very astutely, Dan, this goes much deeper than that. This isn't just about stopping Governor Evers. This is about returning the proper function of the state legislature in overseeing and allocating money to the legislature. The legislature in the 1930s decided to abdicate that role to the governor because of all the federal money that was coming in during the Great Depression. Well, now it's time for the state legislature to retake what is its proper constitutional function, holding power over the state's purse, the state treasury. This wasn't really much of an issue because the legislature always had oversight in how federal money was spent. Governors just always sort of naturally gave deference to the legislature when money came in until Governor Evers. He got $6 billion in federal COVID money and spent $4 billion of that his own Department of Administration admits it cannot account for. We have no idea how that money was spent. We know about $9.3 million was spent on the very COVID-related soccer field in Milwaukee. There's going to be a new minor league soccer team that's playing in Milwaukee, right? Well, COVID money from the federal government, your tax money that was supposed to go to help businesses shut down during COVID. It was going to help people who are laid off during COVID. It was going to help kids deal with learning loss. No, instead it's going to a soccer field. Same deal with a conference center and sports center in Janesville. You tell me how any of that has anything to do with COVID. Now, how was the money decided on? How was it decided on that money should be spent? Department of Administration also admitted to the state legislature it had no idea. There was like anecdotal evidence. Well, we think the rationale for the soccer stadium was this, but nobody really marked it down. There's still $1.8 billion yet to be spent. And what we learned yesterday from State Senator Eric Wimberger, who called into the show, is that Governor Evers has invested some of that money. He's put it into an investment interest-bearing account where he's gained hundreds of millions of dollars in interest and other payments as a result of these accounts. That isn't going to the state treasury, but rather Governor Evers is literally creating his own slush fund. I've said he's used this $6 billion as his slush fund. This interest-bearing account, the interest that has been earned from this account is literally a slush fund. Governor Evers is keeping that for his own personal piggy bank. So the immediate concern is putting this money into the state treasury where it belongs, forcing the state legislature to have a say in how this money is spent, and forcing Governor Evers to face some oversight in spending this money. But in a broader sense, what this is really about is returning the proper separation of and shared powers of state government. That's a long way of saying vote yes and vote yes. Both constitutional amendment questions you should vote yes on. Could we be in the beginning stages of a recession? A recession has been long feared and long predicted because of the situation on the ground financially that has pretty much always indicated that a recession was coming. Only one time in American history has the government been able to get back down to a target 2% year-over-year inflation rate without triggering a recession. Generally speaking, when interest rates climb as high and as fast as they have over the past year and a half, the economy goes into something of a tailspin because people simply stop spending. We had something of a massive problem. First with inflation, spiking prices to the highest point they've ever been, obviously, but relative to the amount of money that people make. Groceries, energy, rent is taking up a far bigger part of the budget. What happens there is people tend to stop spending on luxury items. They're not going to go on that vacation this summer. They're not going to go out to eat this Friday night. They're not going to go to a movie. They're not going to go to the Renaissance Fair. They might not go to State Fair. Things that they could possibly cut out. Entertainment expenses, non-essential expenses, they cut out because so much more of their money is being chewed up by things that they have to pay for. At the same time, businesses find it much more difficult to do business because as the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates, it becomes far more difficult for them to expand by borrowing money to hire more workers, to buy more trucks for shipping, to build a new building, a new office space, expand the size of a warehouse. Whatever it is, it just gets more difficult and it's costlier. At the same time, that business has its own costs. This is reflected in the producer's price index. You have the consumer price index, which is what we pay for the goods that eventually come to us in the form of consumer wares or whatever it is, services. The producer price index reflects the cost that producers of those goods and services have to pay to bring them to market. Those costs have gone up at the same time the Federal Reserve, using the only tool in its toolbox, has essentially tried to get inflation out by raising interest rates. So it's a double whammy. At the same time, of course, businesses are paying much more in taxes. Biden administration raised the corporate tax rate from the record low level that Trump got it down to. So it's essentially a triple whammy. You're also paying more in regulatory costs after Trump went on a massive deregulation binge. Who do you think reinstalled much of the red tape? The Harris-Biden administration. Now what we're seeing is the beginning stages of what I believe to be an economic slowdown. I'm not going to predict a recession, but there were only 114,000 new jobs created in July, 65,000 less than were created in June. The unemployment rate rose for a fourth straight month, spiking to 4.3%. By far the highest unemployment rate since October 2021, before we returned to full employment during the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result of this, the major markets right now are down about 1% each. The Dow Jones down about 500 points. The NASDAQ, the S&P 500, everything's down about a percentage. Now, this is nowhere near recessionary territory. In fact, it's nowhere near correction territory, but we are in some of the highest flying stocks starting to get into that. The NVIDIAs, the Supermicro computer, the Microsofts, everybody that was flying high essentially on speculation over AI's capability is starting to come back down to earth. And the dirty little secret of the market is that those stocks, the highest flyers, were essentially carrying the broader economy. The FANG stocks, or the Magnificent Seven stocks, were doing all of the heavy lifting for a stock market that really has been sputtering and has been so overweighted by just incredibly high-performing stocks that it's been something of an illusion that the broader market is doing a lot better. Now we are starting to see the problem of years of fiscal mismanagement, I think, starting to come home to roost. Now, there might be those who suggest that, well, Dan O'Donnell wants the economy to tank so that Trump can win re-election. Nothing could be farther from the truth. I have a stock portfolio, and right now I'm building a house. I would very much like to have more investment income as I build that house. But the last time there was a recession in a presidential election year, it led to something of a landslide victory for the party that was out of power in 2008. It was the Democrats, and it was widely believed that President Barack Obama actually won election in 2008, not on Election Day, but on September 15th. That was the day that Lehman Brothers collapsed. That was the day that the market started to melt down. And that was the day it became apparent that the media was going to blame George W. Bush for all of it, even though we now know that the causes of the Great Recession were far deeper and, in fact, had very little to do with George W. Bush. If you were going to blame a president, you were probably better off blaming Bill Clinton for essentially changing the way that we loaned money to people who wanted to buy houses in the name of, what else? Social justice and equity, to try to get people into houses. We essentially got rid of down payment requirements, and we made it far easier. Well, at the same time, you had a whole lot of defaults on these bad mortgages known as subprimes. I don't want to get into the causes of the Great Recession or anything like that, but what I do want to tell you is that it fundamentally shook up that presidential race. We might be seeing today the beginning stages of something that could. We will discuss all that and more with U.S. Senate candidate Eric Hovde. He joins the show next. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. I frequently speak with people who are unhappy with their landscaping and they're unsure how to turn things around. Well, here are 4 tasks that will make a remarkable improvement to dull landscaping. Number 1, thick, lush green grass. We need food and water to be healthy. Our lawn care programs and irrigation systems provide your grass with everything it needs to thrive. Number 2, pruning. Regular, technically correct pruning keeps plants strong and vibrant. Number 3, plant bed edging and a fresh layer of bark mulch. There's nothing better than the look of crisp bed edges and fresh mulch. Number 4, landscape lighting. You finally have your landscaping looking its best. A landscape lighting system lets your landscaping come alive after dark. So there you are, 4 landscaping tips that amplify the beauty of your home. Please call Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
It's Window Nation's anniversary sale. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months and get an extra $250 credit. Schedule your estimate now, 866-90-NATION, or find them online at windownation.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! And call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Are you looking for a restaurant where you can get breakfast any time of day? Look no more, because the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield is the answer. Just take Highway 41 to the Holy Hill exit, turn west, and then take a right at Wolf Road, just over the railroad tracks. You'll see the Sawmill just around the bend on your left.
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow famously said, "Into each person's life, some rain must fall." At Ryan Waterproofing, we tend to agree, as long as it's not in your basement. Free estimates, because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing. Call Ryan.com. That's callrion.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, I'm Jeff Kelm. Join Dan Small and me for Outdoors Radio Saturday mornings at 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Brought to you by Hupy & Abraham, Wisconsin's largest personal injury law firm. 800-800-5678 or HUPY.com.
Before you buy an annuity, or worse yet, a variable life insurance policy, give us a chance to tell you both sides of the story.
Financial strategies, what's the way to build your wealth?
Go to financialstrategiesinc.com.
Now, back to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Dow Jones Industrial Average now flirting with a 2% drop, down 700 points in the first 2 hours of trading today following a deeply disappointing jobs report showing that just 114,000 jobs were created versus 175,000 that were expected. Joining us now to talk about it, someone who knows a little something about creating jobs and economics, Senate candidate Eric Hovde. Eric, welcome to the program, sir.
Great being on the show, Dan.
So your thoughts about the market meltdown this morning, the jobs report, unemployment rising all the way to 4.3%. I'm raising at least a couple of alarm bells, if not open fear, that we might be sliding into a recession.
Dan, we probably already are in the recession, and quite often it will take a few quarters before they recognize that we've already entered that. And if you look at the economy, the manufacturing sector has really been in recession for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. There's data, USIM manufacturing index, that's been in contraction for about 18 plus months. The service sector has been in a good growth mode, but that is now slowing dramatically. The labor markets are clearly weakening. If you look at credit card delinquency rates, mortgage delinquency rates, auto delinquency rates, they're all rising dramatically. Look, Joe Biden's economy, Kamala Harris's economy, Tammy Baldwin's economy have really hammered people. Real wages have declined over the last 3.5 years. We never had real wages decline for 3 years during the great financial recession. So it's catching up, and we're probably already in a recession, and it's only going to get worse because what they did is they spent so much money, all that crazy money that created the inflation. They timed most of that for 23 and 24 to try to help them get reelected. The problem is they so messed up the private sector that is what is sinking, even though all this government money. Look at you drive around Madison, Wisconsin, the university's rebuilding how many buildings? Every street's ripped up. That's all the government spending to try to keep the economy up. Problem is the private sector, they've messed up and they've hammered consumers' ability to spend money with all their inflation. So their economic policies are an absolute disaster, and they're only going to get worse. And sadly, I think things are going to get a lot worse over the next 6 to 12 months. And I don't want to depress anybody on a Friday afternoon. And, I'm running for the Senate and trying to turn this country around. But I'm just going to be honest with people. I think the economy is going down.
Yeah, and for all the reasons you cited, in addition to this, sir, the Bureau of Economic Analysis, BEA, reported about a month ago that the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, the PCE, that is what the Federal Reserve most closely monitors, not the Consumer Price Index, but the CPE to monitor inflation, now shows that the average family of four is paying $17,080 more for the same goods and services that they were in 2019 under the Trump administration. That is an extra $1,423 per month every single month, just in Biden, Kamala Harris, Tammy Baldwin inflationary costs. That's unsustainable in the extreme.
100%. And they try to say, well, inflation rate's coming down, inflation's coming down. Yeah, but the prices aren't dropping. You've already baked in. Oh, and by the way, government numbers, they changed all these government numbers in the 80s when inflation was raging. And if you calculate inflation today like we did back then, pre that, inflation rates would probably, instead of showing, aggregate inflation of 22%, it'd be more closer to 40%.
Right.
And I'm not going to drag people into the technical weeds about OER, owner equivalent rent, and things of that nature. But it have hammered people. And all you have to do is go to the grocery store and go pick up, go to the meat section. Go look at what red meat or fish costs or chicken. Go open up your, and everybody got this sticker shop, your auto insurance bill or your homeowner insurance bill. Insurance rates have skyrocketed. So, yes, this is what's happened. They're cratering and hammering people. Look, if you're in the top 20, 30%, you own stocks, you benefited by the stock market rally, or if you own real estate. But if you are not in that category, and 50% of Americans, don't own those kind of assets, maybe a small 401k, they have been hammered. And if you didn't have the benefit of buying a home before all this inflation, which is so sad because younger people have such a difficult time getting access and being able to buy a home and start their families. But, rental costs in apartments and that is hitting them. So we have done a lot of damage to the American public. And I think this is going to be the big issue come election day. Look at Senator Baldwin. That's why she won't debate me. That's why she runs from the press, because she won't stand there and answer for all her votes and supporting Joe Biden 95.5% of the time. She will not acknowledge that, and she's fearful of it, just like she doesn't want to talk about how she opened the border and help create the fentanyl crisis and help create the crime problems and help create the housing problems. And by the way, look what they did, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. Are you kidding me? Healthcare costs have risen more dramatically after they passed that, and even worse, access to care has gone down. Go try to get, a medical procedure. Oh, wait for 6 months or a year. It's insanity what's happening there. So every aspect of our life has gotten made worse, and even things like crime they ignited with their defund the police movement and opening our southern border. So I think it's been the most incompetent administration we've ever seen. Kamala Harris is completely incompetent. The press is going to try to rally around her, make her look like, greatest thing since sliced bread, and try to whitewash away all her past comments of what, she said in her positions. And, but I don't think it's going to work, because I think ultimately people are going to go on election day, am I better off or worse off than I was 4 years ago?
Just getting back to what you had mentioned about Senator Baldwin not debating you, what reason has she officially given?
She won't give any reason. I was just doing radio with a gentleman up north, and he can't even get her to even answer a couple basic questions. When he tries, they won't even let him know when she's going up north so he can show up to her event. And he says, it's a total joke. You make yourself available, she runs from me. And that's what she has done all the time. Look, she said Joe Biden was the most accomplished president in generations a week before the debate. Then he has his meltdown. And then she won't even answer anybody in the press whether she continued to support him. And then when he comes into the state, even though, she was buddies with Joe, she says, I can't come to his rally because I have my little event and I don't want to upset my volunteers that are showing up. What, her 10 or 12 volunteers when the president, your own president's coming? So, she's a coward. And what has her whole campaign been about? All it has been is attacking me, making up lies, things like I'm from California, or stuff about nursing homes. I don't own nursing homes, misquoting me when I'm talking election fraud to try to say I don't believe elderly people should vote. Or the latest one, Dan, have you seen the latest one where I was talking 14 years ago about how farmers toiled in the field with hard manual labor, and then because of technology, they drive tractors to plow their field. Factual statement, right? Mm-hmm. Of course. But then she says, Eric Hovde says farmers are lazy, and has some farmers say, I'm not lazy. I've never said I think farmers are the hardest working people in America. How they even extrapolate that, but that's what they do, and they play everybody for complete fools.
Well, my favorite has got to be, my favorite has got to be where she takes credit for the bills that she had nothing to do with. Well, they have these, Tammy Baldwin did. No, actually, she didn't. We did the research. She had nothing to do with either bill that she brags about in her commercials. She has to make up legislation that she co-sponsored, which she actually didn't. So just to be clear, sir, you have reached out to her team. Your team has reached out to hers and said, we would like to debate, and they're refusing to answer you.
And it's not just my campaign.
No, I'm sorry, sir. You cut out a little bit. You reached out to her and she didn't answer.
It's not just she didn't answer to my campaign. She won't answer to any of the other media outlets. The amount of journalists that have tried to get a debate, it's gotten so bad that West High School, she graduated from Madison West High School. I went to Madison East. Her own high school wanted to arrange a small little debate between me and her. She wouldn't even answer her own high school she went to. And I said, I'll show up to West High. Sure. I'd be happy. I'll go on her territory. But yes, all the different media outlets have tried to organize things, debates that typically would take place, and she just runs from them. And that's what a campaign should be about. Two people answering the questions of the people of Wisconsin, how their policies are going to make this country better and improve the lives of the people of Wisconsin. And instead of doing that, she runs and hides. She's a complete coward, and she doesn't want to be held accountable for her record. And instead, all she wants to do is make up lies about me and run ads and say, I'm this terrible person.
Man, that's kind of remarkable. I think we just made some news here that there have been multiple attempts made to get. Now, I'm taking a wild guess. You're willing to debate anytime, any place.
Oh, you want us to say tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow, next week, next month? I'll debate her any place, anytime, anywhere.
Has the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, which usually coordinates Senate debates, reached out to you?
And as a lot of other organizations have reached out, and other journalists.
So they want to get they want to get a debate, like say TMJ4 or something like that, or
yeah. And
you have, of course, said yes to all of them.
Yes, 100%. We'll do anyone, any place. Anywhere. I think we should do debates in Southeast Wisconsin, in Green Bay, in Wausau, Madison. I'll go any place.
And wait,
she doesn't want to do that.
Have the media outlets told your campaign that Tammy Baldwin has not responded? Is this?
They've told me. I've had journalists look at me and tell me directly, yeah, we've tried to get her. We get no response, or we get a no.
That's
not
kind of
my
a big
campaign.
thing.
I've talked. You've
personally talked to.
Yeah.
And not one of them is reporting on the fact that they have reached out to Tammy Baldwin to set a debate, because now August, this is sort of the time when, after the primary, obviously, it's when you start setting debates, usually after Labor Day, and she's just refusing to answer any questions. There hasn't been a single report on this, because this, honestly, sir, is news to me. You're breaking news on the Dan O'Donnell Show right now that the Tammy Baldwin campaign, that Baldwin is refusing to answer any media outlet that is asking to host a debate, and those media outlets are refusing to report that the sitting United States senator is ducking their requests for a debate. Like, not even saying, yes, we are interested, but we've got to talk logistics, just refusing to answer.
I think the guys at up front acknowledged that she would not do the debate. I think one of them did make that comment, but I can't say that definitively. But yes, that is 100% the case. And again, that's what you should be doing. And the only debate I'm getting is October 18th, and voting starts.
Yeah, that was because I was going to say, I believe the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association one is October 18th, and voting is already underway.
Still underway. And it's the whole Fetterman strategy.
Yeah.
That's what it's, put it very late. So if she has her, blows up in the debate, I can't wait to debate her. And is that a lot of votes will already have been cast, and people can't change their votes. Because remember, the amount of people that wanted to change their vote after Oz debated Fetterman in Pennsylvania, and they couldn't. And if that debate would have happened before early voting, Oz would have won that U.S. Senate race.
Man, I guess Tammy has refused to do the WISN TV debate, as well as the WFRV Green Bay debate. Those two stations have just, are they just not saying? I guess you said up front, which would be WISN 12 has said. WFRV TV has no word on whether. How about this? Yeah. How about this? Mr. Hovde, I am hereby offering to host a debate on the Dan O'Donnell Show live at the time and place of your choosing. I would hope that you would want to come into the studio, because it would be the easiest on our end. Live on the radio, a full 2 hours, 9 to 11 a.m. We can even possibly blow out the commercials. I know my boss is sweating bullets right now at that prospect, but I am extending an invitation right now to both you and to Senator Baldwin to come debate on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
I will be there. Love it. And good luck in trying to get her, because she will not show up. So if she doesn't, I'll show up. And maybe we just put a Tammy mannequin there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. We might actually get more in-depth answers. All right, you heard it here first. We are going to host a United States Senate debate on the Dan O'Donnell Show. The Republican candidate, Eric Hovde, is in. During this commercial break, I am going to reach out to the Tammy Baldwin campaign to formally invite them to an in-studio, on-camera debate. Tammy Baldwin, Eric Hovde, to make it totally fair, all right? Because I know what the initial objection will be. Well, Dan is clearly in the tank for Eric Hovde. I will be asking both Hovde and Baldwin the exact same questions. There will be 2 minutes for an opening statement, 2 minutes for a closing statement, both determined by a coin flip as to the order. We will then alternate questions. Both candidates will get the exact same questions, so there will be no possibility that I could be accused of being biased in favor of Hovde. Those are my terms. Eric, do you agree to those?
I totally agree to those terms.
All right. I think we've got us a debate set. We will be in touch, sir. Like I said, I'm going to email the Tammy Baldwin campaign right now. We'll try to get her to commit to a live radio debate. We've done this for gubernatorial races in the primary in 2022, attorney general races, Department of Public Instruction, state superintendent races. I believe I'm going to be moderating a congressional debate at some point this fall. I've got extensive experience in doing this. Never been asked asked to do a Wisconsin Broadcasters Association debate, but we'll see. Maybe there's a first time for everything. But you will hear a Senate debate on the Dan O'Donnell Show, we think. We think your opponent will get back to us. Okay, here's the bet, sir. Not only will she accept, will she even respond? Will they even bother to respond to my email? This will be the big question. But we do have Eric Hovde agreeing to a debate. Sir, we will see you at some point after Labor Day in studio for the debate. Thank you so much for being so generous with your time, sir.
It's always great being on your show, and I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Go out to the state fair. I'm going to be there tomorrow, and look forward to meeting people and shaking hands.
All right, sir. He is Eric Hovde. Let's see. I'm going to get to it. Emailing the Baldwin campaign as we speak. What do we think? Do you think she's even going to respond to me? Probably not. Well, maybe we'll get lucky.
iHeartRadio Olympics update.
Team USA took home gold and bronze in the women's gymnastics all-around. Simone Biles taking the gold as the U.S. grabbed the all-around title for a sixth straight Olympics. Suni Lee, the winner of the Tokyo Games, back on the podium in Paris, earning that bronze.
It felt absolutely incredible. I mean, to just be back out here is such an amazing accomplishment.
USA women's basketball now 2-0 in Paris. They beat Belgium.
For NBC's live coverage from Paris, search Olympics on the free iHeartRadio app.
Hi, it's Jerry Bod. If you have chronic back pain, you absolutely know how miserable it is, how the pain crushes the joy in your life. But it doesn't have to be that way. If your back pain is due to a disc problem, there's a non-surgical procedure that helps discs recover. It's called Disc Seal, and it is amazing. It's an FDA-approved biologic that can be injected into a damaged disc and fix it. Quick procedure, minimally invasive, highly effective, success rate over 80%. Get your flexibility back. Get your pain-free days back. Get your vitality back. And those activities that you love, like golf and gardening and playing with the kids and the dogs, get it all back. And why in the world would you want to wait? Do it now. Make the call. It's Disc Seal, powered by Longevity Health 360. Call for a consultation. It's free. 262-200-2700 or visit WIDiscSeal, that's SEEL.com. Disc Seal, powered by Longevity Health 360. Reclaim your life. Do it now.
Sit back with a cocktail because it's the summer of Bartesian, the premium cocktail maker that can craft over 60 cocktails, all with natural juices and artisanal bitters. Just push a button and let happy hour begin in under 30 seconds. For a limited time, when you buy a Bartesian cocktail maker, get a 6-cocktail gift with classics like Cosmopolitan, Old Fashioned, Whiskey Sour, Margarita, Espresso Martini, and Uptown Rocks. Visit Bartesian.com/cocktail to claim your free gift now. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
I'm Josh Sparks, owner of Infinity Exteriors. 9 out of 10. Brand new roofs can't pass a simple manufacturer warranty inspection. Every Infinity roof does.
MJ, Josh's partner here, protecting homeowners for decades to come, always installing roofs, siding, and windows to better than manufacturer warranty specifications is how we built Infinity to the most successful exterior remodeling company in the Midwest.
It's your home, it's your roof. With Infinity, it's all about you.
Infinity passes on buying power no other roofer has, saving you money.
Infinity provides absolute transparency in pricing with our proprietary app, showing exactly what Infinity is going to do and exactly what everything will cost line by line, real time.
No waiting 3 days to a week for a quote.
If you like what you see,
and you will,
Infinity can schedule your new roof, siding, or windows, including financing, right there in your home. No hassle, no waiting.
Warranted, guaranteed quality. Installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
That's InfinityRoofing.com.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Hi, my name is Joseph Hastretter, owner of EWH University. Are you a business owner struggling to increase or close sales, or generate more leads, create more interest, or master your message? Listen in every Sunday at 11 a.m. on WISN and let me show you better strategies for increasing sales. Take a look at our free tools and courses at EWHuniversity.com. EWHuniversity.com.
Most states require their legislature and governor to work together to spend federal dollars. Not Wisconsin. Governor Evers spent billions of your hard-earned tax dollars with zero checks and balances. After 4 years of backroom deals and millions lost to fraud, it's time to restore accountability to Evers' out-of-control spending. You can help fix it. It's as easy as voting yes on August 13th to ballot questions 1 and 2, paid for by IRG Action Fund and the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Dan O'Donnell here. So I have a question for you. How much money is your roof making you? If the answer is none, then maybe it's time to think about adding solar energy to your roof. The superheroes at Current Electric would love to walk you through that process. Chuck Smith, the owner of Current Electric, is the pioneer for commercial and residential solar energy in this area. He's been working with satisfied customers since 2001. Time for your roof to start paying you. Go to callcurrent.com.
Hey, I'm going to let you in on a wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, they want you to think that unlimited data is fantastic. Well, the fact is, it's not. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, only charges you for data that you need. For just $25 a month, you get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 5 gigs of data, plus mobile hotspot. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, and do it now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Save money, same service with Pure Talk.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Hello, everybody. Recording live from somewhere.
Lord of mercy. All night Sunday Central. Conservative thought, not just talk.
This is Dan O'Donnell. Consider me the entity within the industry without a history of spitting the epitome of stupidity.
And I have now formally invited Senator Tammy Baldwin to our debate. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I have sent an email just formally making the offer to the senator after Eric Hovde, who is live on the radio just a second ago, said that he would participate. And here is the email I just sent to Tammy Baldwin's press email. Hello there. Dan O'Donnell with News Talk 1130 WISN in Milwaukee and 1310 WIBA in Madison here, formally inviting Senator Baldwin to a live in-studio and on-camera debate on my radio show at a date of her choosing. My show airs from 9 to 11 a.m., and we would dedicate the entire show to said debate. The format would consist of 2-minute opening statements, the order of which will be decided by a coin flip, and then questions before a 2-minute closing statement by each candidate. Each candidate will be asked identical questions, alternating the order of each so that there is no concern about moderator bias informing the questions. Senator Baldwin's opponent, Eric Hovde, has just agreed to these terms and has agreed to work with the Baldwin campaign to find a date that works for both sides. Would Senator Baldwin have interest in participating? Please email me at your earliest convenience so that we may finalize details. Thank you very much. Dan O'Donnell. Will she answer? Should we put it to a vote? I am not particularly... let's just say I don't have my hopes up of her actually doing this. Fantastic suggestion from one of our listeners who emailed me. Have the debate with or without her. Just play her commentary through the years to answer your questions. That is actually a fantastic idea. That I'll ask about illegal immigration or something like that. We play an old answer. Seems to be fair, right? It's something that she has said. Because I think it's boring to just talk to an empty chair. And, you know, the point is made within the first 30 seconds that you just get silence. How about that? We are also following what appears to be an economic meltdown. The NASDAQ has now entered correction territory. It is very nearly down 3% this morning after a devastating jobs report. The unemployment rate ticked up to 4.3%. And this has kicked off widespread fears of the beginning of a recession. The S&P 500 down about 2.25%. The Dow Jones Industrial had flirted with a 2% drop. It's now at about a 1.85% drop. The broadest indicator of the market, of course, being the S&P 500. The Dow Jones is just a handful of companies that are supposed to represent the entire broader American economy. But in reality, some of the highest performing stocks in both the Dow and on the NASDAQ have sort of kept the rest of the stock market afloat, whereas we have seen massive problems as a result of Bidenflation for several years now. We're going to have to cut this segment short. When we come back, we name the Unhinged liberal of the day. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Dan O'Donnell here for the incredible team at Mander Collision and Glass, now with 6 locations to serve you. And you hear me talk about my great experiences with Mander all the time. Here's David. I had a chip in my windshield of my 2009 Chevy Malibu repaired today. Scheduling was a breeze. Staff was great. I was in and out in under half an hour. That's the Mander difference for you. Quick, professional work with customer service that's second to none. They treat you as a valued member of the family and not just a number like some of the big national chains. It's service that you can only get with a third-generation family business, and that's why I've been using Mander Collision and Glass for so many years, and so many listeners are now discovering and have discovered the Mander difference too. You can check them out at any one of their great locations: Cedarburg, Brookfield, Heartland, Milwaukee, Muskego, or Waukesha, and start your repair today at mandercollision.com.
Whether it was from a burn, heat, water, or a candle wax spill, if you have a great piece of wood furniture that has a damaged top, don't worry, because if we have to, we can refinish tops only. Other places may say you need to refinish the whole piece, but we can do better than that. So don't let your great piece go to waste. If it's just the top you need refinished, or for jobs of any size, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. He was told it would cost him $1,000 to refinish his chair, but when it was done, he'd be able to sell it for at least twice that, only to find out that he paid more to refinish the chair than it was actually worth. You gotta watch out for dishonest people out there, but not over here. With over 50 years of experience, we'll give you a good idea of the value of your piece and whether it's worth refinishing. So for honest answers, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
After 30 years of doing knee and hip replacements, Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup thought there had to be a better way, and that led him to regenerative medicine.
I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it.
Now, after 20 years of successful orthobiologic treatments, lots of clinical data, research, and teaching, Dr. Scheinkup is National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
They've done an amazing job of becoming the most significant orthobiologic and regenerative medicine practice in the United States. QC is so far ahead of the game in its science, its protocols, its people, its facilities.
So if you have chronic pain from arthritis and you want to avoid drugs and surgery, call the experts in this revolutionary field, QC Kinetics.
To give patients real lasting relief from pain, that's what I live for. That's my mission.
Get your free consultation now. Call QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Gorgeous new roofs, showstopper siding, or classic brick and stonework. How about modern windows and regal doors that'll make your chin hit the floor? To a lot of people, having these things can really make them enjoy where they live. It makes them proud. But there's always one thing standing in the way. How do I make that happen? At Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, we have excellent financing options for most people in most situations. 12 months, no interest, no payments, and exceptional rates for long-term loans that will beat your bank with no additional fees or hidden costs. You can go to SemperfiRoofing.com to apply for your pre-approval today. We want to make any project affordable to almost any person, and we've gone out of our way to find partners that can help make it happen for you. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Ask about our finance options.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Warshawski's Victor Harding, Best Lawyers Product Liability Attorney of the Year, achieves maximum compensation.
Best Lawyers Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year, Warshawski's Frank Cravello, achieves maximum injury compensation.
Injured?
It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
Milwaukee's most powerful radio show. The Mark Belling Late Afternoon Show. There's only one Mark Belling on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Didn't think when we started the show today that midway through we would be hosting a U.S. Senate debate, but this is the nature of live radio, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Hovde is already accepted. We have formally invited Senator Tammy Baldwin. We'll see if she even responds. It is time now on the Dan O'Donnell Show to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is Laura Coates of CNN. While waiting for the hostages to get off the plane, she compared the scene looking at the plane that had brought hostages home from Russia to the moon landing.
We are about to see the door to that plane open and the first steps of freedom. It almost has the impression of a kind of moon landing in some respects.
No, in no respects, Laura. I know you're excited that Kamala Harris is getting credit for something that she actually didn't do, freeing those hostages, but it is nothing like a moon landing. Laura Coates, your unhinged liberal of the day. The resignation of UWM's police chief. A resignation letter you need to read.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
It's a homicide. I'm Benjamin Yant on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee County's medical examiner says the man who died outside the downtown Hyatt died from restraint asphyxia. ME's office yesterday released Devontae Mitchell's autopsy. He died after 4 private security guards held him down in late June. Guards fought with Mitchell after he locked himself inside a hotel lobby bathroom and refused to leave. Mitchell's family wants murder charges in his death. All 4 security officers have been fired. Milwaukee police have also suggested murder charges in the case. Full autopsy's not yet been released. The police chief at UW Milwaukee is going out with nothing but harsh words at the university. Police Chief David Salazar released a letter yesterday announcing his resignation. He also accused the university of bungling an investigation into him, ignoring anti-Semitism on campus, and failing to look into the complaints against other officers. Salazar has been at the center of a misconduct investigation and has been on leave at the school since April. UW Milwaukee leaders say Salazar's allegations are false. They say it's an attempt to distract from his own misdeeds. A judge is not stopping the push to email ballots to disabled voters. Dane County Judge Everett Mitchell yesterday refused to block his order that would allow local election managers to email ballots to voters who need a machine to read them. Mitchell says it's a case of disability rights. Some Republicans worry that it's going to open up an opportunity for fraud. Voters only have to self-certify that they are disabled. Case is now headed for the appellate court. Your WISN Sports Scoreboard. Brewers back in action tonight. Start a 3-game series against the Nationals in Washington, D.C. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Benjamin Yount on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, host of the Designer Yard Show and owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Do you love your landscaping? Do you appreciate the perfect blend of plants, stone, and wood that embraces your home? Do you delight in sitting on your patio with a cool drink, taking in the beauty of your backyard? If you answer yes, then we have a lot in common. Now, one more question. Does all of this beauty disappear when the sun goes down? Since 1994, the experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services have been creating beautiful landscaping that can and should be enjoyed even after dark. If the beauty and pleasure of your landscaping disappears when the sun goes down, you should consider a fully automatic landscape lighting system. The experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services are gifted at creating deliciously soft, subtle nighttime scenes. To schedule a meeting with one of our lighting designers, please call 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A few morning sprinkles are possible. After that, some sunshine as we get into the afternoon. High near 86, still a little on the sticky side. Clear and 72 tonight, should be sunny and 88 on Saturday. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Unbleep Your Life Show.
Hey guys, it's your favorite psychotherapist, Anita Astley. Join me every Sunday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. and let me help you unbleep your life and relationships. An hour dedicated to helping you untangle some of those relationship knots on News Talk 1130 WISN. Don't miss out, friends.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage, so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
As I was taking him to the replacement part he needed, he looked around at all the people in the store and asked, "With all the competition out there, how do you guys stay so busy?" And I knew he was referring to stores like Lowe's and Home Depot. And I said, "First, it's just having great people on our team. Smart, quick people who really know their stuff. And installers who only know how to do it one way, and that's the right way. And we make sure we carry products like window and door replacement parts that the other guys just don't. And that's why employees from those other stores send a ton of business over here. And we really appreciate that." This is David Wilhelm. Our formula is simple. Quality products, great people, and stock the important things you need that the other guys just don't. And that's why Lisbon Storm Screen and Door is your clear choice for more.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Smart speakers get a whole lot smarter when they're playing News Talk 1130 WISN. Just ask Alexa or Siri to play WISN Radio and bask in the glow of insight and enlightenment.
O'Donnell Show. The state's largest early vote drive continues. Noel in Hubertus voted yes and yes. There's a steady stream of voters coming in the village of Richfield. Hey, Dan, just early voted in New Berlin. Very easy to do. I'm starting a new job at Turning Point Action on Monday, so it's good for me to set a good example. That comes from Peter. Let's see. Dan and Sue Wood voted today, and Franklin voted yes and yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to read the last name. I know they texted it to me, but I just, for privacy reasons, I really don't want to give people's last names. Mike from Lomira voted yesterday afternoon. Man, oh man, I am getting a lot of feedback to that Eric Hovde interview because I just voted in the village of Pewaukee. First one of the day. 2 nice poll workers are ready to help you vote. Hi, Dan. My wife, Julie, and I voted in the village of Caledonia, voted yes on the constitutional amendment questions. Keep up the good work. That comes from Greg. My wife and I voted in Tosa yesterday. Hey, Dan, I placed my early vote yesterday. I also informed my 2 adult children on the referendums and encouraged them to early vote. Owen, my extremely liberal lady friend, actually listened to my view on the questions posed. So maybe a breakthrough to get her to the right side. I doubt it. It's a sheeple thing. Ooh, boy. I hope he stays anonymous for the sake of his relationship. Hi, Dan. My husband and I voted this morning in the village of Richfield. The clerk said it has not been busy. We voted for Jim Piavarchek and yes for the 2 statewide referendums. Hi, Dan. Despite our reservations that our vote wouldn't be counted correctly, we trusted your explanation of the process, and my husband and I early voted yesterday in the city of Waukesha. Fantastic. And you don't need to just trust my assurances that everything is okay. It is. And there's a public site, myvote.wi.gov, that you can actually use to track your ballot. That you can just, make sure that your ballot is, first of all, received. So should we do this right now with me? I early voted, would have been Monday, right? Yeah, first day of early voting. I would have voted Monday because I wanted to send a good example. So you go to myvote.wi.gov. You click on the tab. It's to the right-hand side of the screen. It says, track my ballot. All you have to do is put in your name and your date of birth. And let's see, I got to go 1991, definitely not 1981. I am registered. My current address is correct. Let's see. View my absentee request. Nothing is up yet. Okay, so my ballot has not yet been tracked. So it takes a couple of days. You'll have to give it a couple of days. It's Friday? I voted on Monday. And you can actually check to see if your vote is counted. Now, it's going to take a couple of weeks, I would say, after the election, but your vote will be counted. I have yet to hear, and I hear every voter irregularity. I hear if somebody has a campaign sign 10 feet too close to the polling place, I hear about it. I have yet to hear a single person who said, I early voted and my vote wasn't counted. Okay? I've never heard of that. You have my assurances that your vote will be counted. Your vote is safe. Because remember, nobody has any idea who you voted for. It's a secret ballot. Your vote is not, your ballot is not opened until Election Day. Now, I have argued that we should be counting absentee ballots the day before Election Day. I still do not understand the opposition within the Republican Party to this. Florida does it this way. They're able to get every single result in a state many times larger than Wisconsin. They're able to get every result very early on election night. The reason for that is because they have the absentee ballots counted early. You can have this also. Okay, think about it this way. Well, then, Dan, they just know how many votes they need to make up. Nobody knows the results. The results aren't published until election night after the polls close. Has there been any issue of Republicans not winning landslide elections by having the early votes counted the day before the election? So there is no early voting the Monday before the election. That's used for poll workers to get everything set up at the polling places and have everybody. Why can't you, on a day where there is nothing to do but basically set up tables and chairs, have someone feeding those ballots through the machines? Moreover, you can have Republican and Democrat observers there. They aren't stretched thin. This isn't being done at 10 o'clock at night. It's being done at 9 o'clock in the morning in full view of everybody. Hell, I would go down there to a polling place. I would volunteer to take a shift and watch them put all of the ballots through the machine. It just makes sense. I think we have got to get this changed, and I am tired of waiting days for they're already saying, folks, well, it could be days before we know the results. How is this possible? How is it that we now wait days for election results? 50, 60, 100 years ago, we knew results relatively instantly. Now we have to, in the age of technology that can tabulate results instantaneously, we have to wait days. That in and of itself lends suspicion. All right. By the way, if you'd like to take part in the state's largest early vote drive, shoot me a text, 414-799-1130. That is the adventknows.com talk and text line, or 1-800-838-9476. David Salazar announced his resignation as chief of police for the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee Police Department. Salazar cites anti-Semitic incidents on campus that the university leadership was reluctant to address, even though they violated university policy. In other words, he's alleging a cover-up. Here is his letter in relevant part. Milwaukee Jewish Federation and Hillel Milwaukee formally complained to Chancellor Mark Monet that students and community members were subjected to anti-Semitism and intimidation during a Jewish cultural event on campus. Chancellor Monet directly asked that I determine if the claims of anti-Semitism were true or exaggerated. I thoroughly investigated the incident and determined the claims of anti-Semitism were true. My conclusion that anti-Semitism was present on campus was challenged by head legal counsel Joely Erdan, but supported by Chaya Vang, the Vice Chancellor of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. On March 15th, 2024, I was falsely accused of violating UWM's Selected Academic and Administrative Policy 5-1, Discriminatory Conduct and Consensual Relationship Policy. Shortly thereafter, I was placed on administrative leave based on the false accusation that I was, quote, surveilling a female police employee. To date, I have never received any information or have been questioned relating to any such allegation. I cooperated with the biased investigation led by Joely Erdan and provided evidence of gross incompetence and false statements by members of the police department. On June 3rd, 2024, the investigation concluded that I did not violate the discriminatory conduct and consensual relationship policy. However, the evidence of gross incompetence and misconduct that I presented was ignored and was not investigated. Only after I sent correspondence to University of Wisconsin System President Jay Rothman did an investigation commence. On July 19th, 2024, I was notified that the university was pursuing possible code of conduct violations. Despite my full cooperation, it has become obvious that the investigative process is corrupted and the outcome is preordained. After much contemplation, I have concluded that my trust in university leadership is broken. Wow. There is a lot to unpack there. We reported at the time that Salazar was, in fact, I think we might have broken that story, that Salazar was placed on administrative leave because of inappropriate relationship with a subordinate. We never learned about the result of the actual investigation. That was sort of kept under wraps, wasn't it? That Salazar was completely exonerated. He then alleges that he personally investigated and thoroughly investigated claims of anti-Semitism on campus. Now, you didn't need a thorough police investigation. The incidents were overwhelming. I mean, the signs that UWM kids, and for those who don't remember, long about March, April, maybe a little bit later than that, April, May, towards the end of the spring semester, all over the country, especially in New York and some of the liberal hotspots, there were these glamping encampments. Kids would just put up tents on the university square or university quad, and they refused to leave until, Hamas was officially recognized by the university? Before the president has Free Palestine tattooed on their forehead. Their demands were, shall we say, rather ridiculous and nonspecific. But they would physically and verbally intimidate any Jewish student who walked through. And this was well documented. I believe it was Stanford University, possibly UCLA, where very famously it was caught on camera. They refused to let a Jewish student walk through the encampment. They basically shut down an entire area of the campus. And the kid needed to it was the easiest, quickest way to get to some building he needed to go to from class. They wouldn't let him through because he was a quote unquote Zionist. Well, it was because he was a Jewish student, so they wouldn't allow him through. He filmed it, and the clip, of course, went viral. There were incidents that were being reported, and there were a couple of them that we actually took up. There was one at UW-Madison where a law student experienced deep anti-Semitism. She wrote a letter and actually joined us live on the show to talk about it. There were issues that I believe Wisconsin Right Now was down there reporting on anti-Semitic things at UWM. So we knew this sort of stuff was going on. Salazar then confirmed it, thoroughly investigating a couple of complaints. And remember, he is not just some random private eye hired by the Hillel Milwaukee or UWM Jewish Student Federation. He is the head of UWM's police chief. If UWM is going to believe anybody's investigation, you would think it would be David Salazar's, correct? Well, no. Head legal counsel Jolie Erdan said, "We don't believe your results." Why? The DEI vice chancellor, Chia Vang, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that name, she supported the investigation's findings. Why did the head legal counsel not? Was it because Jolie Erdan already had Salazar under investigation for violating a company policy, a school policy for surveilling somebody? Well, it turns out after a thorough investigation there, and what Salazar is alleging is an incompetent and biased investigation, they found he did nothing wrong. So then in June, this Jolie Erdan is apparently trying to get this guy out again by concocting some other thing. Now, this second investigation, I have no idea what it's about. All I can say is that Salazar is denying whatever the focus of the investigation is, but he resigned because he says, look, this person using the power of the university is openly questioning my findings and trying to cover up my findings that there were anti-Semitic incidents on campus, possibly and very likely motivated by this witch hunt that she has had to try to get me out. How much you want to bet that Salazar tends to lean more conservative than the rest of the university's leadership? Now, remember, Monet was essentially forced out by the UW system because of his just utter impotent weakness in the face of these campus protesters. He basically bent the knee to them and sided with them in a number of statements that he then had to walk back. Finally, the UW system says, hey, Chancellor Mark, you're going to retire, right? After next season, after next school year, you're going to retire, right? You're going to take a step back. You're going to focus on other things in your life. Suffice it to say, UWM right now is a mess. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We're going to push How Bizarre back one segment because we've got some stuff with respect to Kamala Harris to get to next.
Win your way to our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One. September 20th and 21st.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Starting Monday, listen for your chance to be there.
The Hartford Small Business Insurance knows opening a small business is a great achievement. They offer custom insurance solutions to fit your needs. Get a quote and find why over 1 million small business owners trust them at thehartford.com/smallbusiness.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Need a tree on the ground now? Cut and Go offers same day or next day half-service tree removal. We do the dangerous part, putting the trees on the ground in orderly fashion. You do the cleanup. A Trees and Tons movement. CutandGoTrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
They used water to restore your wood? No wonder you need us. Well, don't worry. This time we'll do it right. You see, water raises the grain of wood, warps it, and opens splits and glue joints. It's the enemy of finished furniture. And that's why we only remove your finish chemically. It's not the cheap way, but it is the best way. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you have a great piece and want to see if it's worth restoring, of course we can send someone out there. And no, we won't charge for the visit. We've been doing that for almost 50 years, along with pickups and deliveries, to get the beautiful piece that we restore back in your home safe and sound. And we'll guarantee your satisfaction to boot. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair, where no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
There's only one store that gives you every possible choice in diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, and it is time now We think. Yeah, here we go. It is time now for a Kamala Harris update.
We see what can be unburdened by what has been.
The next President of the United States, Kamala
Yes, it is the cackler-in-chief, Kamala Harris, the super serious, definitely not weird presidential candidate as ordained by the Democratic Party. Last night, late night, has Laura Coates of CNN described the scene as like the moon landing.
We are about to see the door to that plane open and the first steps of freedom. It almost has the impression of a kind of moon landing in some respects.
It's almost like a moon landing. Yes, exactly. Well, 3 Russian prisoners, 2 of them, one Paul Whelan and the other Evan Gershkovich, a Wall Street Journal journalist, were held captive in Russia as political prisoners for a long time. 3 Americans were set free in a multi-nation prisoner exchange. MSNBC was blaming Trump, saying, look, Trump couldn't get these hostages home. Problem with that, of course, 2 of the 3 were actually taken hostage during the Biden administration. Trump would have no ability to, free the hostage. One might say it is weird that an MSNBC host would not know that. In fact, Biden himself forgot that 2 of the 3, when he was bragging about getting the hostages home, he said, Donald Trump couldn't do it. Well, sir, 2 of the 3 were actually kidnapped and taken prisoner on your watch. So there is that. Now, President Biden, as you might imagine, went out to greet the plane as it touched down, and he welcomed the hostages home. Out of nowhere came Kamala Harris, who then spoke off script. We think for the first time in nearly 2 weeks since she was anointed as the Democrats' nominee / savior. And, well, you got a reminder of why she doesn't often speak off script.
This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances.
Wait. So this is about understanding diplomacy and the strength of understanding diplomacy, which is diplomatic in that it is diplomacy which is strong. The woman talks in circles and says absolutely nothing. This is why we can see what can be unburdened by what has been is her go-to, because ultimately it doesn't mean anything. Okay, we can see the future and we're not bothered by what's come in the past. Okay, I gotcha. But she says that because she's not really saying much of anything, is she? They are right now trying to position Kamala as the lead negotiator who got these hostages freed, right? Well, it's not quite that simple. The NSA's Jake Sullivan was asked that at a press conference yesterday and was forced to him. He said, Kamala, she was in a lot of those meetings where the hostages were discussed, and she asked a lot of questions. So, Jake, that would be a no. She had nothing to do with getting these hostages. Well, she asked a lot of questions of the people who were involved in getting the hostages home. And by the way, yes, there is a notorious Russian hitman who was freed in exchange for these 2 Americans. I guess it's a better deal than the merchant of death for an ungrateful WNBA player. But alas, this is what it's good to see. I shouldn't. It is great to see Paul Whelan and Gershkovich home. I mean, because the Gershkovich kidnapping, and that's what it was. He was not a spy. He was a journalist. Okay, Whelan, he was alleged to be doing bad things in Russia. Again, this is what Russia does. They accuse Americans of all sorts of atrocities so that they can then take them hostage. But it's good to see everybody back home safe. We take a look at the strangest stories of the past 7 days. Segment we call How Bizarre is coming up next.
Olympics update. The U.S. women's basketball team is 2-0 in Paris after putting away Belgium.
Put up a valiant effort, but the United States books its ticket to the quarterfinal.
The U.S. is tied atop their group with Germany, and those two teams will square off on Sunday. In men's hoops, the U.S., already quarterfinal bound, will wrap up group stage action tomorrow against Puerto Rico.
For NBC's live coverage from Paris, search Olympics on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage, so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cab overs than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit lynchtruckcenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services, and I'm so proud to be a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, a Christian, and an American. My wife Amy and I did our best to educate our children about our reasons for embracing traditional values. Recently, Amy and I became empty nesters, and now our young adults are in the real world with the American dream in their heads, their hearts, and soon it will be in their hands to share with others. God is good. Marriage and children are a blessing. Capitalism works, and America is grand. She is rich with beautiful places to explore. She's a melting pot of beautiful people. Diverse? Yes. But we are still blessed to have so much in common. Ignore the politicians and the media who sow seeds of hate. Let's embrace the wonders of life, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness in America. Join me in discovering the wonders of nature and the wonders of America.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Grieve at Reset Restore MD. Scientists have linked depression to neurochemical changes in the brain. Studies show ketamine can permanently reset and restore those balances, relieving depression and related issues. R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com.
I was stuffed up. It was almost like someone put a clothespin over my nose. As an athlete, it did affect my performance. And as I got older, the congestion and poor sleep really took their toll.
Mike's a lifetime athlete. After hearing about Advent, he felt he could finally find a solution to his breathing triangle problems.
With my congestion, the kind of sleep I was getting wasn't allowing me to function the way I wanted to.
When your nose isn't working like it should be, it's going to negatively affect your sleep. And then you really can't be at your best at anything that you're doing.
It's been about 5 years since coming to Advent. And what balloon sinuplasty did for my quality of life, that step I took was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Balloon sinuplasty can help solve your breathing triangle problems, which will help you sleep better. And that's going to help you live a better quality of life.
Unlock your potential. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Divergent Family Law is experienced attorneys dotting every I, crossing every T, assuring you carry all of the assets and custodial rights you are legally entitled to down your new life path. Divergent Family Law, separate and equal or better. divergentfamilylaw.com.
Need a tree on the ground now? Cut and Go offers same day or next day half-service tree removal. We do the dangerous part, putting the trees on the ground in orderly fashion. You do the cleanup. A Trees and Tons movement. cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
I'm Mike Thurston, the only candidate for Waukesha County DA endorsed by Waukesha County Sheriff's Deputies Association, Waukesha County Police Chiefs Association, current Sheriff Eric Severson, former Sheriff Dan Trewicki, former Sheriff Arnie Mancata, former DA Paul Bucher, Waukesha Mayor Sean Riley, Delafield Mayor Tim Eicher, even the Milwaukee Police Association. Listen to tough as nails law enforcement icon Sheriff Clark's own words. Quote, "This upcoming primary election for District Attorney of Waukesha County presents an opportunity to make change in that office. You need a ball-busting, no-nonsense prosecutor who will be aggressive in going after criminals, generally, but more so when predators from Milwaukee enter into Waukesha County to victimize your residents and businesses. That can be a deterrence and a message to would-be crooks to stay out of Waukesha County. I have identified such a person. His name is Mike Thurston, and I need your vote on August 13th. He has my confidence, and he has earned yours. Don't let this be a missed opportunity. David A. Clark Jr., retired Sheriff, Milwaukee County. Do your part. Join law enforcement in fighting crime. Please vote Mike Thurston, District Attorney, early at your clerk's office or in person August 13th. I'm Mike Thurston. I approve this message paid for by Mike Thurston for DA.
Visit PrilloHomeImprovements.com.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in Wisconsin.
This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
It is that time of the week where we cast aside the cares of the serious and focus instead on the silly. Yes, to borrow a popular word from the left, that is totally organically and definitely not at all astroturfed. It's just organically going viral. We focus on the weird. Isn't J.D. Vance weird? Say the people who are cheering on the dude beating the holy hell out of the lady in the Olympics. That's not weird. Pete Buttigieg calling J.D. Vance weird while simultaneously wearing the boob suit so he can breastfeed, or chest feed the baby that he and his husband adopt. Not weird. Not weird to see the Secretary of Transportation in a boob suit. When I say boob suit, I mean it is a suit. It is the Secretary of Transportation sitting there with a couple of giant breasts filled with milk. Do you think he ever does that for his husband, but fills the boob suit with margaritas? And that's their intimate thing? All right, I apologize for that image, which possibly just made you spit out your coffee. It is that time of the week here on the Dan O'Donnell Show for a little segment we call
How Bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
We're going to have sort of an Olympic theme for this week's How Bizarre, the opening ceremony. Of course, it took all the headlines with the trans dudes and penis opening ceremony with the Last Supper. That totally wasn't the Last Supper, you guys. It was not the Last Supper. It was the Feast of Dionysus. Even though it was billed before the opening ceremony. Hey, there's going to be a drag queen Last Supper. Isn't that cool, guys? No. Afterwards, when the Christians dared to get upset that their faith was being mocked, it totally wasn't a Last Supper. I am still waiting for a transgender Muhammad to critique Islam. Let's see. I think, didn't some dudes at a satirical newspaper in Paris try that a few years back? Didn't they just draw a picture of Muhammad? I wonder whatever happened to those guys. Do yourself a favor. Google Charlie Hebdo if you forget that terror attack. But we'll stay away from the transgender and... am I allowed to say nutsack on the radio? Yeah? We have producer Andrew sitting in for Dave. All right, I'm blaming you because I've been calling it the nutsack last supper, because there is a dude who's just sitting there and his testicles are hanging out. And everybody's just sort of like, well, that's what happens. Sometimes there's a wardrobe malfunction. When you get a lot of scantily clad dudes, you might see a nutsack. I don't know. These are the people calling us weird. These are the people who are totally fine with nutsack last supper and Olympic boxer males. And they're trying to tell us, well, the male boxer who also has testicles, which might or might not have been dangling out during the Olympic opening ceremony, she identifies as female. She's always identified as female, you guys, so she's told. She failed a gender test for the International Boxing Association. Do you know how you fail a gender test? They pull down your pants and see if you have man parts. She had man parts, she fails. No, it's actually a test to determine, if you have, in any event, she is determined by the International Boxing Association to be a biological male, okay? She's a man, regardless of whether she says she's a man. I can identify myself as Clay and or Buck. It doesn't get me a national radio show, all right? Anyway. I think the most bizarre thing of how bizarre this week is that I just sort of went into a random rant when the actual story, the bizarre story is not nearly as bizarre as the stuff we've been reporting on all week. The Olympics identify, they apparently can't identify a male, and nor can they identify a Korea, because they introduced South Korea as North Korea. Olympic organizers issuing a deep apology after South Korea's athletes were mistakenly introduced as North Korea at the opening ceremony in Paris. As the excited flag-waving team floated down the River Seine, both French and English announcers introduced them as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the official name of North Korea. The same name was then used correctly when North Korea's delegation sailed past. The two Koreas have been divided since the end of World War II. One would think the Olympics would know that. That seems positively normal compared to the stuff that came after. What? Yeah, huh? All right, time for the next story. Are we going to run out of music? Is that the issue? Producer Andrew is like, dude, your rant cost us... And there it goes. There goes the music.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
All right, I struggled for a while with actually doing this story because, first of all, I'm struggling with my voice all week, if you can't tell. I don't know what is good. This is like the one week I haven't been coaching sports and haven't been yelling, and my voice has just been raspy all week. But I've been struggling with doing this story because it is a story of dedication. It's not, I don't want to laugh at this guy or poke fun at him, but it is like, it does make you think, how much would you sacrifice to play in the Olympics? An Australian field hockey player opted to amputate part of his finger in order to compete at the Paris Olympics. Here you've got boxers refusing to amputate their ding-dongs in order to compete as women. I'm never going to stop making fun of the Olympic boxers. I'm just not. It's like someone described it as domestic violence with a few more steps. And I think that's a pretty good way to describe women's boxing at this year's Olympics. Matt Dawson badly broke a finger on his right hand during team training in Perth 2 weeks ago. Recovery from surgery to repair it would have taken months. So the 30-year-old decided to have the finger amputated from the knuckle up in order to take part in his third games, shocking his teammates and coach. He will take to the field with the Kookaburras as they face Argentina just 16 days after he was injured. Dawson has told the media the break was so bad that he passed out when he saw his finger in the changing room. He thought his Olympic dream was over. He urgently consulted a plastic surgeon who said that even with surgery to repair the finger and the long recovery time, it may not gain full function. But if it was amputated, he could be back playing in 10 days. Despite being warned by his wife not to do anything rash, Dawson says he made his informed decision that same afternoon. I'm definitely closer to the end of my career than the start, and who knows, this could be my last Olympics, and I felt that I could still perform at my best, then that's what I was going to do, he told a Parlez-Vous Hockey podcast. If taking the top of my finger was the price I had to pay, that's what I would do. Team captain Aaron Zalewski said the decision sent ripples of shock around the squad, but ultimately they supported Dawson. He said, we didn't really know what to think, and then we heard that he went to the hospital and chopped his finger off, which was pretty interesting because I know some people would give an arm and a leg and even a little bit of a finger to be here sometimes, he said at a news conference in Paris. When you've spent a lifetime of choice and sacrifice to come and compete at the highest level, I think for him it was an easy decision. I mean, not something I would have done. I mean, he couldn't put the finger in like a giant cast. Or like that's the thing. Like you just wrap up, you splint it to the other fingers. Yeah, like that's what Andrew said. Football dudes do that all the time. I guess it seemed like a little overkill, but then again, I'm not an Olympic athlete, so I guess I wouldn't know. That's your cue. You play the...
How bizarre!
Yeah.
How bizarre! How bizarre!
What, did someone cut off your button-pushing finger in there? What's going on here? Did you have to amputate it in order to get this job producing for me? You gave up a lot to produce this show. You gave up sleeping in is what you gave it. Okay, final story in this Olympic-themed edition. My new favorite Olympic champion. He won the silver medal in shooting. Turkish shooter Yusuf Dikec. He has gone viral because he wears absolutely no protective gear. He does not appear to be wearing a uniform. He shoots, and this is pistol shooting, so you do shoot with one hand. He's got his other hand in his jeans pocket. All he's wearing is some glasses. He's got gray hair. He's an older dude, and the pictures of him went absolutely viral as compared to the people who wear specialized glasses to get better sight, you know, the headphones to block out the sound of the car. This guy just shows up, he kind of saunters in, yeah, whatever, boom, 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 boom. I was deeply disappointed, however, to learn that a viral story about him is not true. You might have seen it floating around the internet. Dikec has captured the internet's heart at the Olympics thanks to his calm, cool demeanor. But despite what a viral post may claim, his own heart is most likely doing just fine. Dikec, 51, won a medal in the 10-meter air pistol mixed team competition on Tuesday, delighting fans who were drawn to his casual vibe, which included a lack of protective earwear and no special lenses like most other shooters choose to wear. What Dikec didn't do was stand emotionless on the podium and declare, Sharon, if you're watching this, I want my dog back. Dikec's apparent dig at an ex-wife went viral after a Facebook account called The Sports Memery shared a post that claimed to explain his origin story, calling him a mechanic who took up shooting after a difficult divorce. The post, which has been liked more than 500,000 times, also said that Dikec took a dig at his ex-wife while accepting a silver medal. The only problem, the story was satire. Doggone it. In actuality, Dikec began shooting competitively in 2001 after he started working as a non-commissioned guard for the Gendarmerie General Command. He's a four-time Olympian who previously competed in 08, 12, 16, and 20, and his relationship status remains unknown. Regardless, he celebrated his win, which he achieved alongside teammate Seval Ilyada Tarhan on Instagram with a photo taken under the Eiffel Tower saying, I am very happy that we won the first Olympic medal in the history of the Republic to my country of 85 million people who sent us off with their prayers. This medal belongs to the Republic of Turkey. It may not be as funny a story, but it is every bit as heartwarming, and he is still my absolute favorite Olympian, Yusuf Dikec. This has been the strangest stories of the past 7 days here on the Dan O'Donnell Show in a segment we call... Yeah, you're getting it.
How bizarre! How
December, you'll have this down, Andrew. Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back. Dan here for CertaPro Painters, which provides excellent workmanship, quality, and a worry-free painting process for both residential and commercial spaces, all at the right price. You can trust them to get the job done right and done safely. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Are you tired of politicians not working together? Governor Evers spent billions in tax dollars without accountability, funneling money to his allies. But August 13th, you have the power to change that by voting yes on questions 1 and 2. We can strengthen checks and balances and ensure that no politician single-handedly spends your hard-earned tax dollars. Let's make our leaders work together. Vote yes on August 13th. Paid for by IRG Action Fund and the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score for Choice and Platinum Choice checking customers. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit score from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Repairing sunken or uneven concrete can be easy, clean, and half the price of replacing your concrete. Contact Raise Right to fix your trip hazards, driveway, sidewalk, pool deck, and more. Concrete lifting holes are small and nearly invisible. Go to WeRaiseConcrete.com. Raise Right, the #1 concrete lifting, foundation repair, and waterproofing team for Wisconsin homeowners. WeRaiseConcrete.com. That's WeRaiseConcrete.com.
Our home sure feels empty now that the kids are gone. Maybe it's time to start thinking about a new home in a size that fits our life. With Belinsky Condos, we'll get peace of mind without sacrificing amenities. Plus, accessibility features like the no-step garage entry and wide hallways allow us to live comfortably today and 10 years from now. Visit Belinsky.com to learn more.
Call Callan to remodel your kitchen or bathroom or to replace windows and doors. Callan, design, build, live. Call 414-529-5509. Visit callcallan.com or stop at its Muskego Design Center.
Many states don't allow newly built homeowners to move in until furnace ducts are sealed because sealing ducts saves energy. Even in brand new homes, Clean Living Environments will save you money for life. Get more out of your ducts, cleanlivingenvironments.com. That's cleanlivingenvironments.com.
Infinity's app shows precise costs of your new roof, providing peace of mind.
Infinity costs less, and the price we quote is surprise-free.
Because we pay less, you pay less. Warranted, guaranteed quality.
Installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
Blue Mountain Express. We're gonna put a smile on your face. We make it easy. BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Blue
Sound Express, moving and storage, statewide.
If you or a loved one needs a personal injury attorney, ask around. Lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, insurance adjusters, refer Warshevsky because we achieve maximum judgments and settlements. Their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. I just unfortunately had to text my wife the really bad news that I got in the course of researching this show. She and I actually did fall for the Sports Memories post about Yusuf Dikec and have been laughing about it ever since. In the back of my mind, I'm like, this does not sound real at all, but I don't care. I don't care. I love a good story. Nothing at the Olympics is real. There's no such thing as gender. If you want to show up and beat the holy hell out of a woman, the IOC will let you. The guy's not a guy, you troglodyte conservatives. He says he's a woman, but he's a woman. Never mind the fact that the international governing body of boxing said, nah, that's a man, baby. The IOC is like, come on in. We'll let you beat up every woman in the Olympic Village. Why the hell not? You know, poor Leah Thomas is like, oh, I should have taken up boxing. I could just slap the crap out of Riley Gaines. Ugh. So here's the post from the Sports Memory about Yusuf Dikec. Yusuf, who only recently took up shooting after a particularly heated argument with his ex-wife, credits his success to his newfound passion for seeing his kids and a relentless drive to prove his ex wrong. I never thought I'd be here, Yusuf said, shrugging nonchalantly. I was just aiming for a weekend with the kids. The 52-year-old, who works as a mechanic in a small garage in Istanbul, first picked up a gun during a particularly frustrating divorce mediation. Like, that should have told you. Like, the guy, he's in a divorce mediation and he picks up a gun to aim at his ex-wife's head. I mean, okay, so it continues. His unorthodox approach, no specialty gear, no training regimen, and a wardrobe consisting of his everyday jeans and a t-shirt has baffled professional shooters. He just shows up, shoots a near-perfect round, and then asks if there's a smoking area nearby. After winning silver, Yusuf stood motionless on the Olympic podium and declared, Sharon, if you're watching this, I want my dog back. It's just perfect satire, because the picture that went viral does look like just a normal schlubby dude that Dikec, one of my buddies, says not all heroes wear capes. Exactly. It does just, he looks like just a normal schlubby everyday guy. I don't mean that like disrespectful. He looks like an everyday, graying, kind of middle-aged, average dude. He's got his hand in his pocket. He's like, oh, okay, boom, 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 boom. But unfortunately, he is, in fact, a highly trained, very well-respected Olympic shooter who's been in 4 Olympic Games before. He didn't just take up shooting because he first handled a gun in a divorce mediation. I mean, that is, I think the Sports Memory deserves a follow from Dan O'Donnell. It calls itself the fakest fake news on the internet. They just posted an hour ago a follow-up. Yusuf Dikec is back in Turkey with his dog and silver medal. They used AI to make an image of him with the dog and a gun. And it says, thank you everyone who reached out, but was just a joke about Sharon. Dog is here. Dog is safe. Dog has never cheated on me with Butcher. Oh, my goodness. I guess follow the sports memery because that is some grade A satire. I'm telling you, Yusuf Dikec, if he's competing in 2028, as I severely hope he will be, he has got my full support in the next Olympic shooting. Out of time for this busy broadcast week. Thank you to everybody for listening. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I know I will. Talk to you again Monday morning right here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.